What's up, basketball fans? Welcome back to another Spurs film study. Today we're going to look at 4 defensive possessions that were the beginning of the end for San Antonio in their season opener on Thursday night. Let's start with the sideline out of bounds set from the Mavericks, where they run a simple 3-man delay action. A pass to Daniel Gafford at the top of the key sets everything in motion, and with shooters like Klay Thompson and Maxi Kleber keeping Chris Paul and Keldon Johnson out of the picture, it frees up all the space in the world for Luka Doncic and Quentin Grimes to work off one another on the left side of the court. And this is where the Spurs make a critical mistake, so let's pause. With Luka setting a back screen on Jeremy Sochan, it is now on the pink-haired power forward and Stephon Castle to communicate a switch. Spoiler alert, that doesn't happen. If they don't intend to switch, then Castle must make contact with Grimes and push him out wide so Jeremy can catch up to him and prevent an undeterred beeline to the basket. That doesn't happen either, and Grimes gets a free run for a two-handed slam. Jason Kidd saw how the Spurs handled that action and runs it right back on the very next offensive possession. Despite Luka slipping the screen this time, Castle decides to switch onto Grimes, but it doesn't seem like Sochan got the memo, and they both end up chasing the second-string guard. This miscue is problematic because it sets Doncic up for a clean dribble handoff with Derek Lively, but let's freeze here to talk about a few other missteps. First, Sochan is forced to go under after getting caught on the Lively pick, which leaves a dangerous pull-up shooter like Doncic uncovered. And second, it doesn't make sense for Wembanyama to sink into the paint when he could hedge and give Sochan a chance to recover. Even if he's worried about Lively diving to the basket, Castle is in a position to tag the roller. Unfortunately, Dallas had the silver and black beat on more than one front, so let's freeze again. CP3 and Keldon fell asleep at the wheel on the weak side, so even if Castle and Wembanyama had fulfilled their responsibilities, Klay would have had all day to let it fly from 3. And in the end, Luka's the one who pulls the trigger with no one close enough to contest his shot. Let's hit the slow-mo button to dissect how the Mavericks also beat San Antonio with this Spain pick-and-roll, a screen-the-screener action that left their heads spinning. As you can see, Wemby is in a pretty deep drop coverage here, which is a somewhat confusing decision for Pop and the coaching staff considering his unique foot speed, lateral mobility, and ground coverage at his size. Simultaneously, Sochan gets stuck on the Lively screen while Klay sets a back screen on Wembanyama that forces Castle to step up to stop Luka from driving or pulling a mid-range jumper. So let's stop for a second and check out this frame. Sochan is trailing Lively in recovery, Castle is defending Luka, and Victor is in the middle of the paint to stop a rim run. And that means in their confusion and dysfunction, no one is paying attention to Klay, one of the greatest three-point marksmen in hoops history. And Luka hits him with an overhead pass for what might be one of the easiest open gym triples of his entire career. The Mavericks turn to another Spain pick and roll a few minutes later, and even though Chris Paul snuffs it out and signals to his teammates, San Antonio flounders on defense. It falls apart with this initial ball screen, and we'll pause as CP3 literally tells Vic where he needs to be. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you Wemby is in the wrong spot based on where Paul is pointing. But assuming Vic believes he's supposed to be in drop coverage again, that leaves Keldon Johnson between a rock and a hard place as Paul gets screened out of the equation. He must now choose between closing out on Doncic or staying glued to Klay. And it's a lose-lose for the Spurs as Klay has the green light to fire away, putting this game well out of reach.